our intro slide. How do you know if a tech job is for you? And what we're going to talk about, questions that you should ask yourself to determine if tech is for you. So in this presentation, we're going to go through a series of different questions, and all these questions you should be, reflecting on and really helping you make that determination of if this is the right career choice for you. So let's jump into our agenda slide, and we have a jam-packed agenda for today. We're going to talk about, as we mentioned, questions that you should ask yourself. So as we go through these lists of questions, really think and reflect about what aligns with you the most, what's most important to you, and hopefully by the end of this, we can help you come up with a decision. So the first part of our agenda is it worth it changing careers, right? We're all, unsure sometimes if we want to make a jump to a different career and what that entails. So we're just going to get that out of the way, and we're going to talk about if it's worth it to change careers. From there, we'll go into, will a tech job offer me what I need? What can I do in the tech industry? Will I be good at a tech job? Will I like working on tech? What skills do I need to have? And then we can open it up for some Q&A. So let's jump right into our first agenda, or our first agenda topic. So when considering a career change, there are important questions that you might ask yourself. And to start, we're going to go through these 6 questions together. The first question that we're going to go over, is it worth changing to a tech career? So let's take a closer look at the tech industry as a whole. And we've seen the headlines. I'm sure you've seen in the news, it seems like every month now, Amazon or Google or Meta, some of these big tech companies that we or these big companies that we usually associate with in the tech industry is having some sort of layoff, right? But let's dig into those numbers and really understand what that means. So this is a report by BIS.gov that has projected growth by industry to 2027. And as you can see, the top industry is tech with 7.9% increase. From there, it goes from construction to healthcare to real estate and then to retail. But you can see tech is well ahead of the next one by a full percentage point. And if we break into those numbers on that projected growth, there is 377,000 projected new tech jobs per year on average. So from now until 2027, on average, you can expect on average 377,000 jobs being added to the tech industry. Another amazing thing to look at with these numbers is the median annual wage is higher by 117%. And that's just the median in the tech industry compared to these other industries. And as we mentioned, you see those headlines. Sometimes they're meant to just kind of grab your attention and maybe evoke a little bit of an emotional response while you're looking at it. But in reality, the tech industry is booming. There is growth. It's expected to surge ahead of many other occupations from 2022 to 2027. We're kind of smack in the middle of that time window right now. But despite the belief, there are more tech hires than layoffs. And some other things that you might not really consider when it comes. The traditional tech companies like Apple and Microsoft and Google, that is not where all the tech jobs are going. If you take a look at this list with construction, healthcare, real estate, even retail, there is tech roles in every single one of these industries. Think about all of the products you use today. It is pretty much associated with some form of an interactive website where you can find information and complete certain tasks, and an application for your smartphone. So tech is being involved in almost every industry now, and that's why it's just blowing everything out of the water in terms of a projected industry growth when it comes to jobs. So don't believe the layoff headlines. There is more tech jobs being added than the layoffs that are actually occurring. So now that we've got that out of the way, right, we understand that tech is probably the top industry to break into in terms of projected career growth. So if it is something that you're looking towards and you're interested in, there is a good chance that you can find yourself employed in the tech industry. So when or if you want to get a tech job, what will it offer you, right? What will it offer you? Is it going to offer you what you need? So to start, let's take a look at some of these common factors that would entice us to join a new career or transition to a new career, right? Pay. Obviously, we need to be able to, have a good sustainable salary that's going to help us, meet whatever needs we have in our lives. And in tech, the salaries range between 50,000 and going up as high as exceeding 150,000. So it's very, very good pay. And on average, I think you're going to land somewhere around that 75K range for your first job, especially if you go through a boot camp and learn those skills from a boot camp. And then another amazing statistic is from that $75,000 average salary from your first year, when you do transition to a new role, maybe a more senior level position, which can happen in just a year or two, that increases about 25K more. So you could be looking at close to $100,000 per year on salary in as little as 2 years. So amazing pay is associated with some of these tech roles. The hours, so on average, people work around 8 to 9 hours, but you also control your own schedule. So that's the amazing thing about the tech industry. A lot of these companies adopt this flexible working environment where you can go into an office if you choose. You can find remote work if you choose. Sometimes you may be asked to work a standard 9 to 5, but other times they'd be willing to let you be a little bit more flexible, 4 hours here, 4 hours there, and really kind of control your own schedule. And especially if you have those skills and you work those skills to be able to freelance and, do your own kind of contract work for clients, you have that flexibility. There's amazing benefits with some of these tech roles, right? We have, amazing health insurance benefits. There is PTO, employee stock options for some of these companies where you can get, stock issued to you, or you can get it at a discounted price. There's gym memberships. I mean, the list goes on and on, depending on, what company you work for. You're also, and this is more of an internal motivation, I would say, but you're also going to be able to shape the future, right? You can be part of exciting projects like designing popular apps and websites that change the way we live. And if you think just the past decade, all of these new apps that have come, on and become just a seamless part of our lives have completely transformed the way we live, right? Uber was once thought of as, kind of crazy, right? The initial idea of Uber, you're going to call a stranger to pick you up and take you from point A to point B. Who would ever imagine just getting in the car with a stranger? But it's become, so helpful to us, and it's meeting our needs that we now use Uber as a seamless part of our life. If we need to get somewhere conveniently, we rely on Uber more than we rely on our own family and friends. So you're going to be part of that with tech. You're shaping the future. You're changing technology that's going to really help the way that people live and make their lives a lot easier. One of the most popular things that tech career will offer you is the ability to work from home. There's a lot of flexibility in schedules, and in many cases, you're going to find a hybrid, which is part-time in the office, part-time remotely, or sometimes even fully remote positions as well. And then it's a dynamic industry. You can work in a variety of different projects, from AI to e-commerce and more. Again, think about any industry, think about any interest that you might have. There is an app for it, right? If you love, sports, or if you love painting, or if you love, cars, whatever it might be, there's some sort of, app that's out there that would love to be able to hire you because you have that, you already have that interest in what you're working on and making that experience better for their users. So the industry has just exploded to incorporate almost all industries out there. So these are some of the top aspects that a tech job will offer you. And then again, think to yourself as we go through this, which of these really relates to you the most? Which of these aligns with what you're looking for? And we'll continue to go on here. So what can you do in the tech industry, right? There, you hear the word tech, and sometimes you might just immediately go to, coding and computers, and you might have to have this really, intellectual background on how computers work and systems work and things like that. But that's actually not the case. There are jobs like that out there, and if that's something you're interested in, you can by all means go and take on that career path. But there are so many different opportunities in tech, and there's more coming each and every day. So every day There are more tech-related job positions. There are more than 80 roles. If we really took out, what is a tech role, you can break it into 80 different subcategories. But here we're going to go over some of the most popular ones. So to start, UX UI designer, that's what we live and breathe here at Av Academy. We love helping people learn the world of UX design. This is where you design apps and websites, focusing on the user interaction and look. So again, you might associate that with coding. There is no coding involved in UX UI design. It's figuring out what makes an app a good experience. Again, we were talking about Uber before, so we can use this as another great example. When you open up that Uber app, you know exactly where to go to call a car and exactly how long you have to wait for it to arrive at your destination and then drop you off at the future destination. The reason that it's such a seamless experience is because designers have made that app look and feel very easy and just an enjoyable experience for users, right? If you had to open up that app and you didn't know where you were going and what button to click and how to call a car, you're probably never going to use it again. But designers make sure that websites and apps that you continuously use are promoting that good experience. So that's what a designer does. Another subset of a UX UI designer is what we call a UX UI researcher. So this is somebody who might not be as focused on the look of the app as far as the layout and the way that the colors are and the placement of the different buttons and things like that. A UX researcher is somebody who's going to maybe be more interested in that human behavior side, right? If you have an interest in psychology, or if you have an interest in the way that why people do what they do, kind of human behavior, this is a really cool subset of design, because you're analyzing those user interactions, those needs, those pain points, and you inform those design decisions, right? So people go out and research, a common problem and figure out what people need to help them with that certain problem. And then you go and figure out how you can design that to a technical experience. And that's what a UX researcher does. Now we can get into a little bit more technical aspects of a career in tech. A software engineer, that's somebody who designs and develops those apps and websites. So when a designer lays everything out, they have the color schemes, where the layout is supposed to be, and the different buttons on that web page, a software engineer is the one that's going to be actually coding it and bringing it to life. Very technical. A web developer, this is somebody who creates and maintains websites. They translate that design again into code. So just another aspect of development, bringing things to life. Then we have probably one of our hottest topics, the biggest buzzword of the year or the last couple of years, artificial intelligence, AI engineer. This is somebody who develops and implements those AI algorithms for systems and applications. So if you are really interested in that technical work and data science and machine learning, you can really find an amazing career in developing these AI algorithms, and that kind of are going to change the way that we really interact with these different products. Cybersecurity analyst, this is somebody who promotes computer systems, networks for security breaches. So you probably see very often how many companies are being hacked, or data leaks and things like that. Cybersecurity is somebody who tries to prevent that as much as possible. A data scientist, this is somebody who analyzes and interprets that complex data to extract valuable insights. So a data scientist, probably a really great way to understand how they contribute to the tech industry. If you've ever gone on Amazon or purchased something on Amazon or your favorite shopping site, and then you've logged back onto that website and you all of a sudden have like 17 recommended products for you, that is what a data scientist does. They analyze your patterns and they figure out the best things that they could recommend you to keep you interested and make it an easier experience for you to do your shopping, or whatever recommending systems that they have going on in that whatever product you're using. And then lastly, we have a project manager. This is something that's not as technical. You can come from many different industries. Sometimes a business background works very well for a project manager, but they plan, execute, and oversee all of the technology projects. So most of the time, a project manager is working with all of these roles that we have mentioned here on this list, making sure that they work together to bring that product to life and to the users. So again, think of these, what can you do in the tech industry? Here's just a couple of important job classifications that we've laid out for you. Which one aligns to you the most? Which one are you interested in the most? Keep that in mind as we continue to go through this. So now we come to this next question. Will I be good at a tech job? And that is one of the biggest barriers that are stopping us from getting into the tech industry as a whole. Are we going to be good at it, right? It's scary to try and learn new skills and then immerse yourself into a just completely different world that we didn't really know about before. But the good news is, of course, you can be good at a job in tech. It's practice that makes perfect. And think of anything else you've ever done before. It's just learning a new skill, right? It doesn't matter if you're trying to learn a new language or you're trying to learn, how to play pickleball, whatever it might be. You need to learn a skill and practice that skill before you get better at it. Tech is the same way. And that's a really cool way to look at the tech industry. Is you don't have to go through that traditional educational, career path, like going through college and, potentially going to, graduate school, whatever it might be. In tech, you just need to learn the skills that are going to help you land that job. And there are countless programs out there that can help you do that in under a year. Even they can teach you those skills and then get you on your way to a career in whatever it is you're trying to learn. And we'll talk about how Av Academy does that a little bit later on. But here's a really cool example. This is Sarah Shaquille. She is a dentist, and you can see from this timeline from 2016 to 2023 to 2024 how her just skills have completely changed, right? Look how amazing these designs and graphics have turned into. And she's a dentist, probably doing this on her off time, her free time. So it's amazing what type of skills you can learn and how you can practice them. So now let's talk a little bit about if you're going to like working in tech. So we talked about all those different types of jobs. Now here's how we can kind of classify them to really understand what's going to be best for you. So there's many jobs for many different people. If you're someone that's into creating structures and building on things, maybe coming into a more structured type of environment where you have a formula and that's the formula you're supposed to execute, most often. Things like web developer, software engineer, AI engineer, cloud architect, the more technical roles could probably be best for you. If you're somebody that's really into creativity or learning, right? Learning about human behavior and how people perceive, different problems and challenges around the world, that is where UX UI designer is a great career for you. Product manager is a great career for you. Video game designer and brand manager. These are creative roles, but the amazing thing to know about this is you don't have to actually be a creative person, because when you learn the skills of these roles, especially UX UI design, the process that you go through to design something brings out that creativity in you. So it's really a cool career because you can transition a lot of skill sets, right? If you find yourself to be a people person, or you like to analyze data, or even if you are a creative, this role can encompass all sorts of those things. So that's why it's about creativity and learning. So these are just some things, again, to think about as we continue to go through and ask ourselves, is this a role for us, or a job in tech for us? So I wanted to take a minute and run through a pretty cool exercise to help you understand if you have the skills to be a UX UI designer, right? So what skills do you need to have? Every job is going to require different skill sets, especially the ones that we looked at from a couple slides ago. In this case, we're going to take UX UI design, and we have a cool little quiz here to run through. And I'm going to read 4 scenarios, and I want you to think which one relates to you the most, which one applies to you. So keep a tally. if I read one and it applies to you, check off that's one, and we're going to read 4 scenarios, see how many of the 4 apply to you. So the first one, you figure out problems, you find good answers, and you use your creativity to make things work well and just the way you want them, right? So you're a problem solver, you're figuring out answers, and you're using your problem solving skills to create something. The second one, you're really good at looking very closely and checking information carefully to make sure everything is just right for your work. The third one, you really like learning new things and getting good at them. It makes you happy to discover and do more cool stuff. So again, something that you just enjoy learning and applying what you learn because it's exciting and fun for you. And the last item that we're going to go over for this fun little quiz, you really understand how others feel and how they see the world, and you care a lot about their feelings. It's easy for you to connect with people. How many of these 4 things apply to you? Keep that in mind, and we're going to go through one more exercise, and then we'll go through the results. So here's another skill test. Again, we're thinking about UX UI design. Which of these do you think is the best design? Is it A, about the leather handbag? Is B's design the best about the leather handbag? Or is C design the best about the leather handbag? So think which one of these is the best. And now let's go and break down the results of this fun little exercise. So before we do that, before we do that, I want to go ahead and put this up here to go over a quick little survey. We love hosting these calls. We love to be able to explain, different insights about the tech industry. So as our audience, we would love for you to take a moment and just fill out this quick survey. It's just a couple of questions to let us know how we're doing, if we're meeting your needs with the topics that we're discussing, and maybe giving some thoughts on what you would like to see. So you can scan this QR code. I will also drop the URL in the chat here in case you want to go through that. But again, just a quick little survey for you guys to take. It only takes about a minute or 2. And if you fill this out, you will get sent a fun little coupon for $250 off our foundations course. And I'll go over what our foundations course looks like in just a little bit. But for our appreciation to you sharing your thoughts, you'll get this fun little coupon. Now, let's go into the results of our fun little skills test. So thinking back to those scenarios that I was reading, how many of those options did apply to you? If only one of those applied to you in UX UI design, it might not be the best match. So think of other careers for yourself, like web development might be more aligned with your skill sets. If 2 of the 4 scenarios apply to you, there's some potential there. We would encourage you to keep learning about UX UI because there's definitely something there, and it might be a really fun and interesting career for you to break into. If 3 of the 4 apply to you, then that is a very high UX UI match. You could be looking at your future career. Are you a good listener? Do you like solving problems? This is everything that we need our UX UI designers to have skills in, and it could be a great match for you. And then if 4 out of 4 applied, you're it. You're going to be a UX designer. You found your true calling. Let's figure out how we can get you, learning these skills and applying it for your future career, because you're right there. You're ready for it. You're aligned for it. It's a perfect match. Now, when we look at the test on the images, which image from A, B, or C on that leather handbag did you pick that was the best design? We say B is best. So I'll go ahead and go back to that for just a second. And if you chose B, amazing job. I think this could be a great career for you as well. The reason B looks the nicest, it's very clean, right? You can see the difference between A and B. The handbag is being blocked. The color's kind of off. It's hard to read that text. Whereas C, the sizing of everything looks a little bit off, right? You can see leather handbag, but it's very, very light compared to the other colors, some things are very small, but when we look at B, everything looks clean and consistent and spaced out very appropriately. And that's what a UX designer does. When you're shopping online and you see something like this, like a leather handbag, they are the ones who are putting this this visual together for you to see. So very, very cool career and skill to learn. So these are the results. Hopefully you guys find yourself a perfect match, and we can talk a little bit more about how Avocademy can help you. But before we get into that, we're going to go over our final topic. How do you know if a tech job is for you? Just a quick run through, a quick checklist to analyze if this really is the right career choice for you. First, you want to work in a growing industry. Tech is growing every year. It's projected to add more and more jobs. This is a growing industry and you want to work in it. You want to help shape the future. Remember our discussion about Uber, right? It has really changed the way we live, and it's become such a simple and seamless part of our lives. That is what being in tech is like. You are working on products that are making things easier for people, and who knows, you might be working on a product that's really going to change the way we live, just like Uber and Instacart and things like that. You're looking to earn a decent paycheck, right? Who can fault you there? Everybody wants to earn more money. Tech is definitely a way to do that. You want to learn something new. You're excited about learning something new. There are tons and tons of opportunities to be able to learn in the tech industry. You've committed to improving your skills. So you have those skills, right? We were talking about those four things that might apply to you. Those are skills that you have. So commit yourself to improving them, and you can become a UX UI designer. But if you have other skill sets, you can definitely become, a web developer, software engineer, whatever it might be. You can do that. One of these jobs seems interesting to you. Remember, we went over those 8 jobs. Something called to you, something aligned to you. That is a good sign. At least 2 skills align with the job description, and you like the field. So this is just a quick checklist. If some of these things jump out, then this could be a good career path for you to go through. So I just wanted to really quickly give you an overview of what you will learn in Avocademy. So we will teach you the UX UI design process through an 8 to 16 week program. So you can learn in as little as 8 weeks. Our program lasts between 8 and 16 weeks. You can commit as little as 10 hours a week to this. And you can learn those skills and be on your way to a career as a UX designer. And here's what you will actually end up creating. So it's really cool. We call this a design portfolio. This was one of our students who was previously in education, and they have now become a UX designer. These are the projects that they've designed, whether it be a website or an application. As a designer, the more projects you work on, the more you add to your portfolio, and it tells the story of how you created this digital experience for the users. So here you can see some of them. This student was on a team of designers, and then some of them, they were a sole designer. In Avocademy's foundation program, you will work as on your own design project. Think of any interest you might have, any hobby you might have, and think of a challenge associated with that. You will design a website or an application to solve that problem in whatever interest you might have. So let's go take a look at this student. She was really interested in travel. So she created an app that can help families travel a little bit easier. And this is how we teach the process of learning design at Avocademy. We start with identifying that problem, right? You can see on her portfolio, she starts by saying parents need better resources when they're traveling with kids. And I think we can all agree. And then we find a solution, and that's this app that was created. And then we also talk about the entire process of how we created this app. So it's very, very cool. You can see these are the finished screens of what the app looks like. You can see all the different pages. Navbar looks very similar to some things that you might have, used previously, right? So it's pretty amazing. In just 10 weeks, this was able to be created. So here's how we do that. We go through the design process from discovery phase, which is that research phase that we were talking about. We ideate, we think of some ideas on how we can address that problem. We design, we test, and then we reflect. And let's take a look at what that looks like. So in discovery, we're doing some secondary research, do some surveys and interview some people to understand what it is that that is a challenge for them. In this case, with traveling with kids, so we maybe interview some parents and figure out what is so difficult about traveling with kids, what might make it better. We gather that research and we go through some cool exercises of mapping things out to understand our users a little bit better. And then the ideas start coming. And this is where we take all of that research that we've gathered and we start thinking of very creative, out of the box ideas that might sound insane, but it might actually work. And then we go through some fun exercises and we, even hand draw some things. So you can see these are like hand drawn ideas of what could go into an app that's sort of addressing some of those user needs that we've uncovered. We figure out, different stories for our users that they might want to do with the app. And then we start mapping everything out. This is what's called a sitemap. So as a designer, you figure out how you want all of your pages to work, right? Like if you think of Amazon, when you go on that home screen of Amazon, there's maybe a tab to click on My Orders and it will take you to that page. This kind of shows you what's going to be on that page in just a high level map overview. So a very organized way. And then you start thinking of how users will be able to get there, right? When you go on the app, if you want to, in this case, maybe book a trip, how are you going to do that through all the different pages? And then we start bringing it to life, right? This is a cool little sketch. You can see it's in the shape of a smartphone or an iPhone. Start sketching some things out. Then you start making it a little bit more formal, right? With the design and how you plan on designing it. And then you start adding your colors, your UI. And that is where you eventually end up with something like this, a full finished product. And the coolest thing is at the end of this, you get to test it with people. So it's what's called a prototype. They can actually test out your app. You can see how well you did to design something that met their needs. And then after the testing, you reflect and figure out some ways that you can make some improvements. And this process, you can see there's a little before and after here. This process is something that can be done over and over again on many different projects. So if you learn how to do this, you can go out and you can do your own case studies. You can redesign apps. You can, uncover more problems just to continue to practice your skills and build out your skills. So this is what we teach at App Academy. Again, 8 to 16 week program. You'll learn these skills and you can be on your way to a career in UX UI design. So with that said, I'm just going to share our final screen here. If anything on this or on this presentation called to you, aligned to you, you thought that this could be a career for you, schedule a call with our career advisors. They are more than happy to talk through this with you. It's a quick 20-minute call. They'll go over any questions you have. They'll talk about the industry, talk about the course, talk about the program, whatever it is you want to hear. They'll be more than happy to share that information with you. So scan this QR code. I will also paste the link in the comment section here. You can click on that and you can schedule a call with them. And remember, if you fill out that survey, you can also get a $250 off coupon. If you wanted to explore App Academy a little bit deeper, we have our Instagram, TikTok, our LinkedIn. We have an email address here. You can also find us online on our website, appacademy.com. But again, please schedule with our career advisors. If there's slightly any interest in this, they will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have and help you come to that decision of if this is for you or not. With that said, I'm Jason. It was amazing having you guys with us throughout this presentation. I hope we addressed your questions on the tech industry and if a tech job is for you. And whether it's UX design or something else, we hope you pursue your career ambitions and make that change that you're looking for. Thank you.